Today's intro video. I'm not sure about what this is. I think it's golf. So it's some sort of primitive agriculture. They are not really succeeding. They are doing some sort of plowing here, but it looks more like a lot of piles of stuff. But that's your intro joke for today. See you with a big breath very soon. Today's intro video. I'm not sure about what this is. I think it's golf. So it's some sort of primitive agriculture. They are not really succeeding. They are doing some sort of plowing here, but it looks more like a lot of piles of stuff. But that's your intro joke for today. See you with a big breath very soon. Today's intro video. I'm not sure about what this. Hello, the English speakers. I have no idea what this is. Is it some sort of beach volleyball for children? Maybe it looks like that. For some reason, I don't know, there is plenty of enough snow for beach volleyball at least. So I don't know why people are not playing right now for children. So today we'll do some war in the propaganda scene. But let's start by taking a big deep breath. So I got a tip from Jerry Frank about Michel Hoffman. So he's from revisionhistory.org. Note that it's .org. And he also has a Substack called Michel Hoffman. And he is a former reporter for AP. So that's my first warning signal. And then he defends that he's absolutely not some sort of denier, because there are a lot of mass murders somewhere, and he doesn't talk more about that. But what have I learned? What have I learned you about starting with denying something? That's bad persuasion, and maybe only the people who don't want to read that warning and want to have some actual facts instead of trying to fit into the Holocaust kind of narrative. So I haven't checked him out in close up. I did find an interesting good article speaking more totally ecstatic about Hitler, and that Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong, or at least not much. So that's another way to view it. And if you list everything the National Socialists did in Germany, there was a lot that the bankers would never have let any controlled opposition do, like ending usury, and they could maybe accept that transsexualism was no longer allowed, but they did destroy a lot of their narrative and had to rebuild it from scratch. They did get to drag Europe into a new war, but there is nothing that says that it was a very well controlled opposition. Of course, everything that gets defeated works like controlled opposition. I can remind you about that. You have controlled opposition. Some of them are just sloppy. They are well-meaning but lazy. And some of them are fooled, and some of them are brainwashed. So these are not the same. The brainwashed, they have gotten into cognitive dissonance, and they just flip out when there comes a new psyop like the Ukrainian war, and then they can't get out of their heads that Putin evil, so everyone against Putin must be very good, and we hail Zelensky, or the same with Zionism and other psyops, like the ones who have believed that the anti-vaxxers were the worst in the entire world. They didn't trust the climate, but then come COVID and they need to vaccinate everyone because they didn't lie about immigration, etc. So they are brainwashed. If people who are just fooled, they get details wrong, like for example that Hitler's father's father was a Rothschild. That's total bunkers. That story was that his father's mother, she was a single lady and she was not poor. She did not work for Rothschild, or she was not even close to there, according to everything we have, and she would have had to register, and there is no such evidence. So that looks very shady. And there were, of course, National Socialists that also were accusing Hitler for being a Rothschild agent. Why not? Because you have internal enemies also, even if they are not infiltrating. Maybe they are also aware. But then you have this black pill opposition. We have David Icke is a good example, saying that the enemy has infiltrated everything and there is nothing we can do and we should just give up, sort of vibe. We had it same here in Sweden with Lennart Mattikainen, that allied together with the Zionist Janosch, Katarina Janosch, that did a good work during COVID, but then the false flag operation, sort of the we call it false flag, sloppy, but way, on October the 7th, and then suddenly you can lie as much as you want about Israel if you are a Zionist, and that means that we cannot trust Zionists for anything. They will start to lie suddenly. But most of this controlled opposition don't know that it is exactly that. So I will remind you, or think about what happened with Candace Owens. So you have a lot of grifters saying that Candace Owens is just wrong, she's a distraction, whatever. Well, don't follow her if you think that she's a distraction then. But then you also have the mafia that are coming out with pure emotional kind of push that basically say you are controlled by us, you must hate her, and now you go out and do some crazy murder or something. So that's what the mafia does. And then you have honest people that think that everyone is controlled opposition. So they say that Hitler was financed by Rothschild. No, he wasn't. Some other rich people, yeah, for sure. But mostly workers, and sometimes by his enemies by accident. The same with Candace Owens, and she gets some things wrong. And then, of course, the opposition to her, the Macrons and all the Zionists, they are of course saying that, look here, she did one mistake there and one spelling mistake there, and therefore you should ignore all the things that we don't have counter arguments for. So then you know that these are evil people that do bad stuff if they are attacking others in this obvious partisan way. And Candace Owens is very good at explaining that. And now you can also see that in every other situation. You know, the revolving doors between different industries and the agency that is supposed to regulate them. David Sachs, who is the crypto czar under Trump, he has a good point that you kind of need people with experience from inside the industry, or in general from private life, in the public, as a public servant, but also the opposite, which we see when politicians get overpaid job for private, pseudo-private companies, which generally means that this is some sort of fascism in the bad way, where you have fascism where people are searching rent-seeking. So they are searching for corruption, basically. They are writing the rules so that they can get monopolies and things that are not good for society. it must be good fascism. It's still fascism. You can't get away from that. But when you have companies and the government working together to benefit the entire society or humanity or life in general, then you have good fascism instead of destructive kind of fascism with revolving doors. So you need some sort of good doors. One example is, of course, you can remove all the ones who are protecting blackmailers, all the warmongers, all the ones who are pro-censorship. They are definitely not the good ones. And then you have the climate cult, the usurers and the vaccines pushers. Trump is not doing, I mean, he's doing pretty well on the climate, except for supporting this CC35 organization, globalist bullshit to enslave the Latin American countries. Otherwise, he's doing well there. And he's not doing enough about the vaccines yet. And when it comes to usury, I don't think a new head of the Federal Reserve, which is not the head of the Federal Reserve, it's just the head of the ones in Washington, D.C., not the bankers themselves. So it's a scam, I would say. And the wars are not really ending. And the blackmail Les Wexner is still not arrested. He's doing some things in the right direction, but that's all. But the vaccine scam and scammers, the stock prices have fallen a lot since people start to notice that FDA is leaking information. They are not good at that. They are good at spreading disinformation. But children who died from Moderna injection, and now they kind of admitted that. Massey said this already 2022, Thomas Massey, and told that they were killing children in those so-called trials, more like psyops, I would call them, and fraud. But we need to clone Thomas Massey, and with that I don't mean to actually clone him, but why not hire a lot of actors? So they are not paid to be politicians, they are paid to play politicians. And instead of getting a lot of money from AIPAC, they are getting moral support and maybe a little bit money from Massey. And all they have to do is to say that they are Massey Republicans or Massey Democrats even, and they can say the same message, but of course it will sound different depending on who they are and which party they are trying to primary the corrupt pieces of garbage from. This is the process that they did to elect AOC. So she was just an obvious, and well, they are not trying to hide it, really obvious actor that they got into acting, which she does pretty well when it comes to getting attention and, well, instead of, thinking and stuff. So we don't need much more thinking. Most of the people in Congress are just trying to get more money, and they are not really that useful. Just a few persons of them are useful sometimes. And we also need to clone Joseph Ladapo. He is the Surgeon General or Minister of Health in Florida. So he is now promising that they will work very hard to end every vaccine mandate in Florida, and he means all of them. If you are even close to Florida, you will not get to have any vaccine mandate. So that's good, and this meme is not insulting. I will say that, but I remember his last name because you can imagine this Lada car making a poop that looks really cute. And then you remember Lada poo. So well done by the poop from the old Soviet car. Fertilizing the anti-vaccine rights that we have. Christine Noem, she says something that we like. All countries that are sending us killers, leeches and entitlement junkies, they should... Do I start? No? Almost afraid that I started bleeding from my nose. Entitlement junkies. That sounds like Israelis coming to USA trying to become pedophiles but fails and get arrested and sent back. So of course she doesn't mean a travel ban on Israel and not even India. But saying something like that, people will point that out and saying that we have a double I problem in USA. Or we. Well, it's indirectly affecting me too, here from Sweden. Which is why I'm commenting on American politics, like Tennessee 7. The district there, they are having an election between the Republican Matt Van Epps and Eftin Ben, a Democrat. So, of course, the Democrat Aftin Ben, she is not getting any money directly from AIPAC. That does not mean that she's not controlled by the Jewish mafia. The Democrats are very sly and they can put in people that are controlled opposition in their own party just to, well, make people go along with that, and she will vote as she should anyway. So I don't trust her at all. But Matt Van Epps, he is a MIGA. MIGA, that's a good name, I think. Make Israel Great Again. He only got $8,500, but I would like to have $8,500. I think he should send them to me, and I can give him much better propaganda that will really make the America First movement very happy. And I can register under Farah to give him those advice. God Saad, he's not a god, but God Saad, the writer of Suicidal Empathy, and he keeps hammering in that wrong term. It's just wrong. He is referring to suicidal pity or suicidal mercy. But he says that this tolerance for barbaric intolerance or intolerable actions, that it has to stop. Yes, intolerable actions like one group is doing, and I call them Zionists. And some people say that I should use another word, but I mean the Zionists, only the Zionists, Jews or so-called Christian Zionists. They are the problem. They are the ones who are kicking me out from X. It's not the Wokies, it's not the Muslims, it's not the street-shitting Indians that are my problem. It's the Zionists, and therefore I use that term specifically. Of course, there are communists and woke people that are destroying society in general or just being very, very useless. But when I criticize Zionists, I criticize the ones who are striving for Jewish supremacy. And maybe, of course, there are Jewish supremacists that are against Israel or parts of Israel, how they are doing it. But I don't care. They are Zionists and they are bad. And I don't protect other criminals, of course. So you don't have to whine about that. Honduras have had an election and they are still counting the votes, and 57% was reported of the votes, and it's equally between this Asfura and Nasrallah. So Nasrallah is the leftist and Astura is the drug lord that Trump is supporting, and only a few hundred votes are separating them. So they have 30, almost 40%, both of them, and the third candidate takes the rest and other votes. In UK, if you have a mother that said something that some people didn't like on the internet, then you get expelled from your school, because it's a totalitarian state and people who should be beaten in the face with a bat, they are running the show. And now I can't go to UK anymore because I said they deserve to be beaten with a bat in their face. Of course, I mean after a real trial, maybe. I'm not saying that you should do illegal violence, but when you are forbidding a 13-year-old girl to go to school because the mother said something that was not even remotely as disgusting as the ruling class is spewing out in some other direction, well, that's sick. And a man was posing with a gun in USA, but as he was a slave to the king, or the mafia that controls the king, then he got punished by and arrested by UK. So they are totally destroying any credibility of that state, and it should just fall apart pretty soon, we can hope. Reform is not taking, what should we say, they don't have the entire package. China is of course giving Russia a lot of drones, and if not drones, at least a lot of droning parts. And China can make a lot of drones, to say the least. They can make more drones than the entire world together without any problem, without breaking a sweat. So Russia now has a drone superiority, which of course NATO thought that was never going to be possible, because they have their huge military industrial complex that are not efficient when it comes to mass producing stuff. So they are failing badly in that, because the Western world has been destroyed by financialization and bad schools and horrible media. And Russia took Pokrovsk, I must have been spelling that wrong, Pokrovsk, well, a big city, you will not remember it tomorrow anyway. So it's going really bad for Ukraine, and at the same time Trump seems to be wanting out. Lieutenant General in Russia, Abdi Alodinov. Alodinov says that well, he is an expert on urban warfare, and he has taken many settlements in Donbass. And he says that Israel, they are not waging war, and they have no tactics. They are just destroying everything, because they are fascists and genocidal, he says. Of course, when you say fascist, they mean neo-Bolshevik, but you can't say that if you are a lieutenant general in Russia. But interesting that the sentiment for Israel is that in the military in Russia. Wise move in general. Otherwise, Russia and Israel have too good relations to make me feel happy about it. Grok is very popular when it comes to having good reviews on, for example, Google Play. So 4.8 out of 5. When it comes to the X app, on the other hand, 3.5. It has been a crappy app for a pretty long time, and even if you liked the platform, there was and still is a lot of problems with the app. I gave it 1 because they are stealing money from me, this company behind the app, and that was for $450 that they stole after having deleted my account, and they still charge for my deleted account. So the Swedish police said that that looks like a crime, but we don't think that we can convict anyone for anything. So stealing money, that's okay, and totally avoiding to be contacted. So they said, the police said that I should contact X, as I hadn't tried that. Should I write in again and ask for money so I can actually travel to Ireland and having some, I don't know, a lot of police protection with me, and knock on their doors and demanding that they repay 2 years at least, or reinstate me with a forever free and unbannable account. That would be nice. But so far I reported to another Swedish authority for them illegally using my financial information when it comes to using my card. It is of course reported to the card company also, but they can take half a year to give me my money back or refusing to do so. So we'll see about that. And this, what I have been subjected to, that they don't let me cancel my subscription. That's a common thing. Many have complained about this, and X does it, I would say, deliberately at this point, because it's pointed out for them and they have not fixed the bug. So people have to cancel their cards or do something in that regard to just stop paying them money. So that's of course a shitty behavior, to say the least. So List Posta, for example, is a Palestinian activist. And also not just X, but all these platforms, they are doing libel when they are saying that, oh no, this account that people know belongs to me because it's linked to from everywhere and particular posts and so on. So people come there and they say that I have broken against rules, and they don't have my side of the story. They don't know which posts, etc. So if there were some justice in the world, which of course there isn't, they should be forced to present, here is what I say about me being deleted, and this is what the company or the platform is saying. This is why he is or she or they are wrong. But you can't trust X if you are not a big organization. Even if you're Minnesota _DHS. So they are exposing the corruption under, for example, this Walz, the Prime Minister candidate, what he's doing in Minnesota. And they got permanently suspended for some hour. So not so permanently. But they have hundreds of people behind them, and someone was big enough to actually be able to fight back against what X is doing to me. And no one is fighting for me, it seems. No one effective. So that pisses me off. So I hope maybe James Lee has a bigger account on X, can do something and explain that X is stealing for people, so you should never ever pay for it again unless they are changing that policy, and you should demand that and make a lot of bad policies. But I will support James Lee. He writes a lot or talks a lot about corruption and stuff, and here he does it on YouTube, not on TikTok, because he's not on TikTok anymore. He got deleted there because Larry Ellison doesn't like him. And I can remind James Lee that 25% control over XAI should be enough for Larry Ellison to at least cause serious trouble for James Lee. And he also got excluded for all contact from Turning Point USA. So he usually does good short videos and then some long videos that I have never watched. Miriam tries to be better than this Christine Wem when it comes to criticizing Israel, and better than Gad Saad to remind us that Israel is totally evil. So this Zionist, Amiran, he writes over and over again about how amazing all these Hasbara Indians are, how great Tommy Robinson is, and how everything that is criticizing genocide and murdering of children for fun and murdering Charlie Kirk and stuff for Israel, of course he's lying about that. That is good. So he's a true Zionist, and here is his take. Of course, no, how can Israel be behind ISIS? Because ISIS murders a lot of Muslims and Christians, but never Israelis. How can Israel be behind ISIS and be like a proxy? How can it be the proxy army when it's only killing Muslims and Christians and never Israelis? He thought he was making a joke of a very good argument there, and that didn't go well. Santa Claus, he's not coming to Auschwitz anymore. No, he's so tired of these concentration camps. After 1945, a lot of chimneys appeared, and they don't go anywhere. So if you have a lot of chimneys that are just dead ends, well, that's bad. Here in Sweden, I got more information about this new Swedish Fox News, 100% it's called, and it's filled with Zionists, and we don't have to worry what kind of Hasbara operation that is. Total useless garbage, and I will make sure that it will be treated as such. It's fake opposition to the general, fake opposition to the establishment, I would say. It is the Jewish supremacy. But with that bad news, have a nice Tuesday.